Music is an art so culturally universal that just about every human on earth can appreciate some form of music or another. With so many different genres and subgenres, there truly is something for everyone. A song that is the perfect fit for any listener, with every time and place having a song that matches its energy perfectly. It even follows us into the workplace. But while I'm sure almost all of you listen to music in some capacity when studying or working a desk job, does music actually improve productivity? What is actually happening in your brain when you begin playing your favorite songs? By looking at the numbers in 5 scientific studies, I'll break down everything you need to know about how to maximize your productivity while enjoying your favorite music. Listening to music when trying to be productive almost seems to be a no-brainer. Music makes being productive more fun, creating enjoyability in the most mediocre study or work sessions. This in turn increases concentration, which leads to the greatest efficiency in an exciting way. After all, the saying goes, find a job you enjoy doing and you'll never have to work a day in your life. In fact, a quick straw poll shows that over 90% of people listen to music in some capacity when they work. If we enjoy music while being productive, then surely the benefits will follow, right? Unfortunately, the answer is not that clear-cut. What works for one person does not always work for the next. In fact, music can actually overstimulate your brain, causing you to shut down, resulting in decreased productivity. Consider this hypothetical situation. You need to read a chapter for homework, and you know that listening to music helps you study, so you decide to play some music in the background. But what would happen if you played a movie in the background instead? Would you be able to pay attention to your book just as well? Probably not. In fact, scientists and theorists have actually tried to quantify what you already intuitively know. In 1967, German-British psychologist Hans Eysenck published a work describing differences of personality on performance of tasks, specifically between introverts and extroverts. Introverts are people who find spending time with others to be draining, while extroverts find spending time with others to be energizing. It doesn't necessarily mean how shy you are. There can be shy extroverted people and outgoing introverted people. Eysenck believed that introverts and extroverts were different in levels of cortical arousal, meaning that introverts require little or no external stimulation to reach an optimal level of cognitive performance. Meanwhile, extroverts require comparatively more external stimulation. This suggests that since introverts have a lower threshold for stimulation, higher levels of external stimulation should lead to a decline in performance, whereas extroverts maintain cognitive performance. One such experiment shows just that. Scientists studied the effects of cognitive performance on introverts and extroverts in the presence of background music. In order to test if cognitive overload leads to decreased performance, the investigators used both simple and intricate background music. One should expect, while listening to music, the brain will become overloaded with stimuli, thus leading to decreased performance. This is especially the case while listening to the intricate music. One should also expect that introverts will have larger drops in performance than extroverts due to smaller thresholds, but also having better performances than extroverts in conditions of silence. Unsurprisingly, introverts struggled with the tasks, showing less accuracy in a variety of cognitive tasks when listening to music, with even less accuracy when listening to the intricate music. Meanwhile, extroverts actually had better performances when listening to music than in silence. At the same time, introverts generally excelled in silent conditions in comparison to their extroverted counterparts. In this regard, not all music is created equal. These distinctions are extremely important and can either help or hinder your productivity. Perhaps listening to simpler music will help you in your studies, but there are other distinctions as well. For example, music with lyrics is believed to possibly overload your brain, especially with language-oriented tasks like reading comprehension. When listening to music with lyrics while reading, the language processing area of the brain analyzes your text, but you are simultaneously parsing through and trying to make sense of the song's lyrics. One such experiment attempted to discover the effect of listening to music with and without lyrics. The results are, to say the least, interesting. There is no statistically significant difference in cognitive performance between those who listened to music without lyrics and those who did not listen to music at all. However, those who listened to music with lyrics performed on average worse than those who listened to music without lyrics. That means that there's a good chance that productivity will not drop when you listen to music, as long as you stay away from music with lyrics while you work. As a side note, the performance in reading comprehension decreased much more for musicians in comparison to non-musicians, with an even bigger drop in performance when the same music was played out of tune. And although this may seem bad for any of you musicians out there, don't get too bummed just yet, because even with that larger drop, you're still on average way above the accuracy level of non-musicians. I guess musicians just have something that non-musicians don't have. But this leads to a different question. Playing music, which is something that you can control, may not be the same as background music and sounds that are out of your control, such as music played in public places like coffee shops and hotel lobbies. In fact, this is probably closer to background noise rather than background music. This next study shows the distinction between music and noise. The researchers conducted 3 tests for introverts and extroverts: a simple reading comprehension test, a prose task that tested how much the subject remembered a 150-word passage, and a mental arithmetic task. The subject completed the tasks in either complete silence, pop music with vocals, or a recording from an office space. On the reading comprehension task, introverts scored significantly worse than extroverts in the presence of music, with extroverts maintaining performance only slightly lower in music than in silence. The results are similar for prose recall and mental arithmetic. In addition, the experimenters showed that in the presence of background noise, the office space, they actually performed a little bit worse than when listening to background music. These results confirm both that there is a distinction between music, which is controllable and predictable, and noise, which is out of our control. But this also shows some evidence on Eysenck's theory on personality. Noise, by its unpredictable nature, requires us to focus more on it. The brain, hardwired since prehistoric times to scan for danger, hears random noises as potential predators and threats. And since noise is considered more stimulating than music, noise causes an even bigger decrease in performance in comparison to background music. Another study tests the effects of different types of music on memory. In order to test different types of music, the researchers created categories of music. These categories were if the music led to high or low arousal, or if music created a positive or negative mood. Subsequently, the 4 categories of music were high arousal with positive mood, high arousal with negative mood, low arousal with positive mood, and low arousal with negative mood. The study subjects were then given a variety of memory tests while listening to background music of one of the 4 categories. The results, while not impressive across the board, do show some carryover into the real world. Performance levels depending on the type of music were just about the same, but low arousal, negative mood music edged out slightly more than the others, specifically when completing the recognition memory task. Recognition memory is basically the ability to recognize specific places, names, or events that you have already seen before. What does this mean? Specifically, multiple choice tests in school are based on recognition memory. It means that your grades in school or scores on a standardized test can increase just because you decided to study with sad and low energy music. In all seriousness, the anime girls studying on live streams on YouTube will give you a tangible impact on your test scores. In conclusion, it seems that there is most likely some threshold stimulus that is ideal for maximal enjoyment and productivity. In order to maximize your productivity, one should listen to music that is simple and easily predictable, and something without lyrics. In addition, the music should be low energy with a negative mood. This way, the music you listen to will be stimulating enough to motivate you to work, but not too stimulating such that you are unable to focus. But remember, because everyone's threshold for cognitive overload is different, there is no real recommendation except to try and find what works best for you. Out of over 7 billion people on this earth, you know yourself best. Remember, these studies are only meant as a guide. On average, low energy music tends to be more effective, and on average, music with lyrics hurt reading comprehension. But this doesn't mean you should be fenced in by any averages. And the science backs up these statements too. For every study that suggests that what I have said was true, there exists another study completely contradictory, claiming that everything else is completely false. So take the time, experiment, and tinker with your own habits in order to find the best balance that fits you. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for listening. I'm new to the whole YouTube thing, so please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you in the next one.